Jesus teaches about the law. We're in the 5th chapter of the Gospel of Matthew. We're going to start in verse 17, and this is a continuation of simple scripture reading for the new believer. Today we're talking about the law of Moses and what Jesus had to say about it. Let's begin. Don't misunderstand why I have come. I did not come to abolish the law of Moses or the writing of the prophets. No, I came to fulfill them. I assure you, until heaven and earth disappear, even the smallest detail of God's law will remain until its purpose is achieved. So if you break the smallest commandment and teach others to do the same, you will be the least in the kingdom of heaven. But anyone who obeys God's laws and teaches them will be great in the kingdom of heaven. But I warn you, unless you obey God better than the teachers of religious law and the Pharisees do, you can't enter the kingdom of heaven at all. Now let's jump down into the commentary section and see if we could gain a little context about these laws that Jesus was referring to. Let's look at this commentary right here about verse 17. God's moral and civil and ceremonial laws were given to help people love God with all their hearts and minds. Throughout Israel's history, however, these laws have been often misquoted and misapplied. By Jesus' time, religious leaders had turned the laws into a confusing mass of rules. When Jesus talked about a new way to understand God's law, he was actually trying to bring people back to his original purpose. Jesus did not speak against the law itself, but against the abuses and excesses to which it had been subjected. And let's look at a couple more notes and we'll be done. This one is referring to verse 20, where Jesus said, "But I warn you, unless you obey God better than the teachers of religious law and the Pharisees do, you can't enter the kingdom of heaven at all." Let's see what the commentary says. The Pharisees were exacting and scrupulous in their attempts to follow their laws. So how could Jesus reasonably call us to greater obedience than theirs? But what he means is the Pharisees' weakness was that they were content to obey the laws outwardly without allowing God to change their hearts or attitudes. Jesus was saying, therefore, that the quality of our goodness should be greater than that of the Pharisees. They looked pious, but they were far from the kingdom of heaven. God judges our heart as well as our deeds, for it is in the heart that our real allegiance lies. Jesus was saying that his listeners needed a different kind of obedience altogether out of love for God, not just a more intense version of the Pharisees' obedience. May the good Lord bless and protect you today.